Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Amanda and this is a vlog of my late autism and ADHD diagnosis. And okay, I just finished filming the video, but I'm going to put this segment at the beginning because if you're new to my channel, I process out loud, and a lot of times as I'm talking, it takes me a while to get to my point. But there is a method to my madness, and by the time I got to the end, I feel like I had some very valuable things to say. So I do hope that you stay till the end of the video. And remember, you can always speed up the video using 1.5 or 2 times speed if that is a helpful accessibility tool for you. So like I said at the very end, you'll hear it again. Thank you for sharing this moment on the internet with me. And here you go. And I've been sitting in front of my camera for several minutes just trying to push play because I'm just feeling so many feelings right now, and I'm having a hard time expressing them. And I know that I process better when I process out loud. So just hitting play today and seeing what comes out, because right now it's all in a like internalized icky ball inside of me, and I don't know. I did figure out part of my anxiety is coming from the fact that I'm kind of in between hyperfixations right now. And that is giving me free time that I'm not being able to focus my brain on anything. And my nervous system isn't used to free time. That in itself causes anxiety and panic because I'm so used to always feeling like I've got to be doing something. And I don't get bored very easily because I'm the kind of person who has so many interests. But right now, because I'm feeling so dysregulated, I'm not wanting to focus on any of them. For instance, one of my autistic comfort shows is Grey's Anatomy. It's been on the air. This is its 20th season. A lot of autistic people will have a comfort show that they watch the episodes on repeat over and over. That'll help kind of regulate their brain because it's like something they're familiar with. It's comforting. It's same. I've never really done that. I don't really repeat watching TV shows very often, but Grey's Anatomy has so many episodes that I've just always stayed current. But it's been, off air because of the writer's strike for a while. So it came back this week. And so I have an episode, and it's like, I don't know. I can't, like right now, it's like I want to watch it, but I can't focus to watch it. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, I finished the first draft of a book that I started writing. And I am currently just basically stuck on the next step. Like I know I need to start editing it. And that seems so overwhelming that I haven't figured out how to break it down in bite-sized elements I haven't figured it out. So I'm just kind of paralyzed in like moving forward on that project. I want to, and I'm determined, but I'm just trying to give myself grace and be like, okay, it's okay to step away and approach it as you can, when you can. I've been trying to watch some YouTube videos to educate myself on the publishing process, that kind of thing. But even then, I'll turn on a YouTube video on a topic that sounds relevant, and then I can't bring myself to read it. Like it's pathological demand avoidance right now. I'll turn it on, but my brain won't focus on the words. And I will find myself scrolling on TikTok or texting a friend or anything but actually watching the video. So that becomes very frustrating. And this is just like my free time stuff. Obviously, I have a lot of adult responsibilities too, helping my kids, managing their doctor's appointments and schooling. And then I do a lot of the things around the house. Like I've got a pile of laundry that needs to be folded and put away. And I'm just looking at it and like, who needs to do that right now? I don't need to do that right now. And even like filming this video today, I was like, I don't even feel like filming. And I'm hearing myself out loud. Again, I process out loud and it sounds like depression, which, because I'm autistic, you can be autistic and depressed at the same time. But I'm guessing I'm just on the verge of another, like just feeling very burnt out. And I know for me, now that I've kind of been through these like up and down cycles. So healing from an actual big, huge autistic burnout, which I have been doing for several years now, it can take months and years. In that time, there have been windows where I have had like it feeling better, and then I will slump down again. I'm not out of my big burnout. I am still getting my life back to a place where I just get triggered to be in a burnout super fast. I'm hoping, because I have talked to other people who have had a major burnout and they do get themselves to a place where they feel regulated on a more daily basis and they don't hit down to burnouts like really quickly. It had to be something very big to put them back in a burnout. I hope this is making sense. There's also a couple other things that have been frustrating me. I've got a doctor's appointment coming up at the end of the month to talk about the ADHD medication that I'm trying. And I've talked to so many ADHD adults who said that they are so thankful they got on ADHD medicine and it's made such a huge difference. And I feel like the one that I'm on is making a very underwhelming difference. And I'm nervous to talk to my doctor because, I mean, I have noticed some difference, but I, at this point, can't evaluate whether or not it is worth the side effects. For instance, the constant dry mouth that I have, sensory-wise, is just getting to me. It's like I'm constantly feeling thirsty, which does help with water intake. I'm drinking more water, which is good, but I'm just low-key miserable all day, which when an autistic person has a sensory experience that is bothering them all day long, that is going to make things like triggering burnouts much faster because I'm using part of my brain all day long to process how miserable my mouth feels. And then I also started getting dandruff. Luckily, like it's not showing up too much in the video right now, but the doctor originally put me on Wellbutrin because we were trying non-stimulant medications. And in my very, very first video where I talk about ADHD meds, I didn't want to disclose what meds I was on just because every single person's body chemistry is going to be different and you really have to work it out with your doctor. And so my experience is not going to be the same as somebody else on the same medications. But at that point, but now it's just like, it doesn't, I mean, because I can't talk, hold on. I might as well say the name of the medicine because it doesn't matter whether you know or not, because somebody else on Wellbutrin may have amazing benefits. That's why doctors prescribe it sometimes, and it's just not going to work for other people. For me, Wellbutrin caused me to actually have a all over body rash that was incredibly miserable, like big red splotchy all over my whole body. And so it was an allergic reaction. And both the doctor and then she sent me to the allergist had never seen that in their entire time of practicing, that anybody has had that type of reaction to Wellbutrin. That's why she sent me to the allergist, because she wanted me to even verify that's what it was, because she'd never seen that reaction. Well, then she put me on Strattera, and so I've been on Strattera for I think about 7 weeks now. I did 4 weeks at a lower dose, and then she bumped me up because Strattera is it takes a long time for it to show differences in your system. So she wanted me on it for a long time before we had a discussion. And I told her a couple weeks after starting Strattera, I was having like the worst dandruff of my entire life. Like, it was flaking off my skull and even in my eyebrows at an alarming rate. And she looks it up and she's like, no, dandruff isn't a side effect or a symptom of Strattera. And I'm just thinking, well, Wellbutrin doesn't cause rashes to your knowledge either, but it obviously did to me. So maybe Strattera is giving me side effects that aren't common either. Like, I know doctors are working off like facts and statistics, and it's like, look at the actual individual patient. Sometimes it can get just so frustrating. And then we're trying to explain this to the doctor, and I've been using tea tree shampoo, which has helped. And honestly, if all of my ADHD was like, wow, I am, my focus is better, my executive functioning is better, and all of that, I might be like, okay, let's figure out the dandruff. But having a side effect of dandruff, which the doctor doesn't even say is a side effect, but it just happened to start when I started taking this medicine. And the excessive dry mouth, I've had less and worse sleep since starting taking the medicine. And now I'm kind of wondering if it's causing migraines, or if the migraines might be something different. I've had migraines in my past, but like this last week, I used to get them maybe once every 3 to 6 months, but I had 2 this last week. So I don't know if the migraines are just being caused by other stressors, or if the Strattera, 6-7 weeks in, getting migraines doesn't make me feel like maybe it is a side effect, but I don't know. So I have an appointment, and I need to find a way to talk to her about all of this and decide going forward if she wants to put me on a stimulant or not, which is it's a whole other, stress-related side effects that can go along with the stimulant medication. Another big heavy thing that has been on my mind lately is last weekend. So today is Saturday. Last weekend on the Threads app, a post went kind of mini viral in the autism community on Threads, where a mom of an autistic child posted that she wished her child had never been born and that her child had ruined her life. And the sides that were taken, I wasn't going to talk about this originally, but I can't get it out of my head. It really affected me. I talked about it in therapy too. It wasn't just her post that upset me. It was also all of the comments that came out of it. There were so many people siding with her and talking about care or burnout, which is true and valid. But there was also autistic voices speaking up and saying she should not have said this in an online public forum. It was harmful and it is dangerous to say this and talk about this. And then people pushing back and saying parents need to be able to have places to talk about this, and there isn't support. And that's true. This lady happened to live in Australia, which I thought has more support, which again later came out that she does apparently have a nurse aide. Her kid goes to school, and she at one point called her kid nonverbal, but then later said that her child is verbal. So there's some discrepancies from what this woman was talking about, which again, just in the wider sense of the online community, there's a lot of parents of autistic children who aren't getting supports they need, and they get the nickname autism moms, where it's like they are taking on their child's identity. And I am an autistic parent to two autistic kids. So, I am autistic and I have autistic kids, which is very common. Because it's genetic, there's a lot of parents who have autistic kids. And so whenever I encounter one of these autism moms, I'm like, are you undiagnosed autistic? Is the autism from your child's father's side of the family? A lot of times it's a adopted child might be in a family that has, it might be an autistic child and the parents are neurotypical in these situations. But like when I was talking to my therapist, it's like this mother should not have used a public place to talk about her child this way. She needs herself to be in therapy. Unfortunately, therapy is not accessible for everyone. And there's no really great solution or answer. And I wrote a post saying that I understand she is in carer burnout, and she also caused a lot of harm to the autistic community by saying that she wished her child had never been born. Is just erasure, and it's hurtful. As an autistic mom of autistic children myself, I find it's hard to straddle that line between I want to give my kids the autonomy and privacy that they deserve and respect. I also want to advocate for them, and I also want to educate public about what it's like to be raising autistic children, and how to get IEPs, and navigating the medical system, by also trying to keep their lives as private as possible. And now that they're 16, talking to them about consent, and that's an ongoing conversation since they're very little, but like how much because I choose to be online, they only choose to be online in their own ways. But sometimes I will ask them before I do a video, hey, like for Ira and his service dog, I'm like, hey, can I do a video talking about you and your service dog? And Ira loves that. He wants everyone to learn more about autistic service dogs. So he's like, yes. Originally, he was going to do that video with me, but then he decided he did not want to be in front of the camera. So I ended up doing that video by myself. But as a mom to autistic kids, we do experience things that are very, very different than a mom to a neurotypical child. For instance, today I was signing my kid up for driver's ed. In America, you can sign up for driver's ed at age 15. My kids weren't ready to do driver's ed at age 15, and so we waited. Now, this summer, they want to do it during summer so that they're not having to do driver's ed while also doing school, which, has its own set of issues, because they're like, to them, it makes it feels like they're extending their school year, but that's kind of something different. But anyway, so they're going to be 16 and a half when we sign them up for driver's ed. And they don't necessarily want to learn to drive. Like, a lot of neurotypical teenagers are like so excited about driving. They're ready for their driver's license. They are like, want that freedom. My kids are doing it more as a necessity because America is not a walkable country. And if you want to live in a walkable city, the rents and mortgages are insanely priced. And being disabled, it's going to be hard to get a job. Trying to find a job that you can afford in a walkable city is even harder. Driving, because they are capable of driving, it just basically is a necessity, but it's not something they want to do. They don't want to learn to drive. And it's just, let me put it this way, because I'm on a mom's board, a local mom's board, and I see parents posting struggles that they are having with their neurotypical children, like curfews and dating. My children aren't interested in dating right now, and maybe they won't be. I don't know. There's a lot of, oh gosh, I'm trying to be careful because like I do want to keep their privacy to some extent, but neurotypical parents parenting teenagers is hard. And it's hard parenting autistic children for different reasons. And neither one of them, just parenting is a very, very hard thing. And there's not enough supports. We are not the village that we used to be. We're all so isolated, and we're all just trying to do the best we can. And there's so much difficulties. Oh, goodness. I'm starting to have self-doubt about this video, but it's a vlog. I'm going to go ahead and put it up. I'm just going to cross my fingers that y'all are understanding, that y'all are relating, that y'all can see yourselves in my struggles today. I'm just feeling all kinds of feelings. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders the last couple of days. There's wars going on around the world that break my heart. And it's this weird cognitive dissonance about driving down the road in my nice van while I know that people around the world, cities are being destroyed and they're fighting for their literal lives. There's just this like, how is this existing at the same time? There's talk in Congress about banning TikTok, and yet we're still not banning guns that are killing our literal children. There's people trying to ban books and limit education. And there's people of color fighting for their life. There's the LGBTQ community literally fighting for their life. There's the disabled community saying, please just give us accommodation so that we can be equal to you. And it feels like life is just really hard right now. And my therapist is saying, look for the good things, look for the positive, find the glimmers, find the joy. And it's like we are teaching ourselves cognitive dissonance, but you almost have to keep going. And there is a lot of good in the world. And I'm grateful for my family, and I'm grateful for my children. They are amazing, amazing children. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my van that I get to drive on my semi-nice potholed streets. And I just want more. I want my children to not have to advocate so hard for themselves. I want acceptance of different brained individuals that have autism and ADHD and OCD, and my friend who has bipolar disorder, and my friend who has dissociative identity disorder. Like, we are valid, we exist, and I just get stuck in the world that we should live in versus the world we do live in. And that is something that I have been working on in like a daily mantra. That the two mantras that I've been focusing on to keep myself sane are that two opposite things can be true at one time. Like, I can be living in this nice neighborhood and war is happening across the world. Two opposite things can exist at the same time. And sometimes we have to live in the world that is instead of the world that should be. And keep advocating and fighting for the world that should be, and not giving up hope that it can be one day. And it's disappointing that it won't be that way in my lifetime, but you plant an oak tree for your great-grandchildren. Metaphorically speaking, because I don't think my kids, at least at this point, they probably won't have children, and I support that. That's a whole nother topic, but childless by choice I feel is valid, but the advocacy work that I'm working on is like planting an acorn for generations to come. And I hope that the work that I'm doing will lead to the world that should be instead of the world that is today. All right, guys. Thank you for letting me share this space with you and be on the internet with you today.